Hello everyone and welcome to the Ducks Unlimited 400 here at the Memphis International Raceway. We got 32 drivers in the field today, the lowest of the season so far, but we are here still for 100 laps around this short track. The first short track event of the season for the Cup Series, so we'll have to see how these cars will handle on the short tracks after 100 laps of action-packed and beating and banging racing here at Memphis. Larry Hagan in the Snapple colors on the pole, but alongside him, a big story. Aiden Smith, the Monster Motorsports rookie in the Crown Royal Truck Series, came up from the most modified series and now starts on the front row of a Cup race in what I believe is his first start in this Cup car since testing. This is a great opportunity for Aiden to go out there and show his potential. The Cup Series really showing what drivers are on top this year at what type of tracks, because with all the cars being so close together in the research and development fields, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how this field will continue on during the season. Sundrop 500 champion Tim Foster rolls off in the third position. Looking further back, there is Brady Burkhart in 10th, dominated at Auto Club last weekend, but he came up just short in the final laps to the man starting one position behind him, Peter Onjak, getting his first win on a 2-mile oval. Peter is looking to continue this run in through the championship hunt. He's trying to get himself into the chase this year. He's made the chase and been a championship threat every season of a brand new series of the top division of the NSDCA. Even in the Truck Series, when the wild cards were introduced into the chase, he was able to snag one and fight for a title. Onjak wants to go to the championship this year. He's going to have to hope that his team will be able to get him there. Back here, the 53, one important thing about the 53, this is the last week of Logan Bradley, as DJ Gibson, who is at the track on that pit box you see in the Frio colors up there, he is watching as he is medically cleared to run at the Cup events now. He will be back for Road America next week. Zachary Racing wanted to make sure he was relaxed and fully healed before putting him in a car, and he did not want him to go here at Memphis where there could be risk of multiple crashes. Christian Vargas drove last week at Auto Club. Logan Bradley drove the other 3 events here. He was inside the top 10 in the points. That's fallen away because he was not eligible to run Auto Club, so now this will be his final start in the 53 this season. Looking further back, Riley Spurleytube has announced his full-time campaign, and now he is in that number 61 this weekend. I believe he has a 5-race deal with Hagan Enterprises to drive this AAA number 61, hoping to see that car into victory lane for Hagan Enterprises. He starts this race from the 21st position. Kyle Corbett, a short-track driver for Rockstar Energy Racing, raced in the truck race yesterday. He's here in the 75 today for Tony Zhang Motorsports. Joseph Srigley, he had to start and park last week at Auto Club because he was not cleared to race the 2-mile ovals in the Cup Series. He is cleared, of course, for the short tracks. They're small, they're slow, so there is no risk of crazy moves and drivers running around here. So Srigley able to come back in. He's still looking to try to make the chase after he almost went on to win Atlanta, though that pit strategy cost him big time. That start and park cost him some spots in points, but he will be sure to fight his way back up. Colton Lane, also a full-time driver in that 05. Teammate DJ Curtis alongside. Matty Porta, Sauber Racing Team, went to victory lane yesterday. Ken Porta do it from the back of the grid. And Cody Smart, Cody Goforth, the last 2 in the line. Smart not going to be running the full race. Getting ready to go racing here at Memphis. Let's go ahead down trackside for the commands to fire the engines here at the Ducks Unlimited 400.
Drivers, start your engines!
Pepsi and the NSDCA have teamed up this season to bring you the Pepsi Pole Award for the fastest qualifier in all 26 Sundrop Cup Series races this season. This week it is the Snapple T number 21, Larry Hagan, taking his second pole in 2 weeks here at Memphis, looking to get it done on the short track. A short track driver by heart, he wants to finally get it done on the short tracks here in the NSDCA. Can he do it today in the Ducks Unlimited 400 at Memphis? With that, the engines are fired. We're getting ready to go racing here at Memphis for 100 laps in the Ducks Unlimited 400. Larry Hagan and Aiden Smith on the front row. Tim Foster, Brandon Morris row 2. SWJ, Bowers, Jefferson, Eli Bright in the 79. Kukalon, your winner from the truck race, and Brady Burkhart. That sits your top 10. It's going to be an exciting race here today at Memphis. The sun is shining. We'll see if the race will be any different from the truck race yesterday. Yesterday, the leader pulled away and was not able to be caught on restarts. The lappers almost gave him a scare, but Kukulon was able to navigate them enough to stay ahead of Eli Bright, Jay Jefferson, and the rest of the field. Kukulon went on to win the race. Larry Hagan, Aiden Smith on the front row, Tib Foster, Brandon Morris, row 2, Bowers, SWJ there sitting in row 3. It's going to be 32 cars for 100 laps here at Memphis. Green flag is in the air. Hagan with the jump into the race lead, and the 21 is going to pull away. Battle for third already heating up as Bowers is going to shoot his way underneath Morris on that outside line. Now Eli Bright's going to be 3 wide in that 79 car. Top 4 getting single filed out early on here at Memphis. Morris now 3 wide on the outside of Eli Bright. Stephen Wallace Jr., Jay Jefferson down there. You see Kukulon and Onjak, 2 the most recent winners in the NSDCA. Hagan out in front. We're going to the wide angle shot to watch here. Make sure everyone's making it clean through these first couple laps here, hoping that we can have a cleaner race than last season's truck race here. And even yesterday had some carnage, but Kukulon's still able to hang on with a lot of green flag laps there in that race. Out in front, though, Hagan leads Smith, holding up Foster and Bowers, the Anjado duo. Stephen Wallace Jr. in 5th. Eli Bright up to 6th. There is Peter Onjak in that 44 on the inside. Looking to the inside of Kukulon. Not going to happen there. 3 wide, though, down the back as they go running down here, as Onjak's going to look to the very bottom in that 44. Cody Smart's going to bring it on in after a few laps. Going to park that car in the O2. Now here comes Logan Bradley. This is his last chance to get a cup victory this season, possibly, in that 53 car, and he is fighting on the outside, just outside of this top 15. It looks like about around 16th or 17th in the field right now. Looking even further back, 2x2. Cody Goforth already picking up a ton of spots. Started this race from the 31st position. He's up about 7 or 8 spots as he's working his way through this big pack back here. Bowers is going to try to clear himself into 3rd. He came out of nowhere at the end of the Auto Club event. He's going to get into the back of Aiden Smith there, showing him that he's not going to give up. And Smith wide. Bowers now in the 25, going to make a move there, looking for that 2nd position on the 95 of Aiden Smith back here. Larry Hagan pulling away in that 21. Tim Foster back there in 4th in the 40. Stephen Wallace Jr. 5th, 6th now. Eli Bright. Eli Bright for Evernham getting paid. Texas Star Racing paying Evernham to run some TSR guys during this season, the satellite team to it. So there's really no payment necessary, but Evernham kind of struggling, doesn't really have enough funds to really run a lot of cup races, especially if they crash out like they did at Daytona. So Eli Bright out here just trying to keep the car clean and get home a good finish. Right now in 6th is Onjak now. He's a very strong short track driver. He and Larry Hagan, both very strong short track drivers. Onjak right now looking to the inside of the 65. That is for that 6th position. Morris back there in the 55 was almost able to win last week. Diego Yepes in the Cheetos and Gatorade number 77 colors this weekend. He's trying to get himself his first win in the Cup Series, as well as his first win in over a year. Kyle Corbett in the 75 looking for his first win. And Cody Goforth is really tearing his way through the field. He is up now inside the 18th position after starting 32nd, 8 laps through, and he is gaining. He is flying through this field so far for North Border Motorsports. That 27 team is, and they're making their way towards the front. Gatlin Downey now in the 35 looking to the inside of Burkhardt up front. It's starting to spread out. This is some nice, good, clean racing we're seeing here at Memphis so far. The top 3 have kind of pulled away, distanced themselves. Bauer still trying back there, but Aiden Smith is trying to catch up to Larry Hagan. Onjak up the track on Stephen Wallace Jr. Morris now fighting Jefferson, and Morris is going to possibly make a move on Onjak up here. Foster looks to the inside of Eli Bright. That's a battle for the 4th position, as now you see Aiden Smith catching Larry Hagan. 2 young drivers who really have not had too much in their career so far. Aiden Smith, a much shorter career, was mediocre at best in Molson Modifieds. Now in trucks, he's not really done too hot in trucks. He's 14th in points, or he was 14th in points so far, but the 95 team trying to work their way towards the front here and trying to get themselves into the race lead. Bowers now sits there in 3rd in that discount tire 25. He wants to get up here and possibly battle for this race lead as Larry Hagan's trying to hang on over the 95 and 25. Down the back straightaway they go. Hagan out in front. Aiden Smith in 2nd. He's going to try to look a little higher. Not going to happen there. Hagan maintains this race lead. 11 of 100 complete. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break right off the bat here. Get you guys back to the action shortly here at Memphis for the Ducks Unlimited 400 at MIR.
May 12th, experience Gravedigger like never before at Thunder Jam. For the first time ever at Memphis International Raceway, Gravedigger battles Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle in side-by-side drag racing. And Gravedigger races a 300-mile-per-hour jet dragster. Plus, the Chevy Rebellion wheel stander covers the track on its rear bumper. Kids see it all for only $10, plus free parking and access to $1 million worth of race cars at the Thunderfest Pit Party. May 12th, Memphis International Raceway, Thunder Jam. It's what we live for.
Back live here at the Ducks Unlimited 400. Larry Hagan in the race lead. Bowers has cleared himself into second, now chasing down the 21. Aiden Smith back to third. Eli Bright up to fourth. Stephen Wallace Jr. sits fifth. Onjack sixth. Butcher seventh. Morris eighth. Foster's dropped to ninth. Jefferson 10th. Yesterday's winner, Sebastian Kukulon, in 11th. 12th, Diego Yepes. 13th, Kyle Corbett. He's really pulling his way through this field right now as Carter Friesen's going to dive to the inside of him. Dusty Neal back there. Austin Murray. Cody Goforth trying to mount the charge. Irving Allison not too fast here. There's some tire marks there from something as Bowers is going to take the race lead away from Hagan down the front straightaway. 19 of 100 complete onto lap 20, 1/5 of the way through this one. And it's Carson Bowers in the 25 now to the race lead here at Memphis. Hagan in the 21 right there. Will he be able to throw a crossover on him? Will he try to make a move? And now Bowers has Hagan all over the back of him. Here comes Larry back to the inside. He does not want to give up that lead early to an alliance partner. He wants to go and try to win this race side by side for the race lead across the line. Bowers leads at that time. Hagan now, it looks like he's going to slow it down. Bowers tried to throw it into the corner on that outside line. Almost cleared Hagan, but now Hagan fights back right to the inside and down the back straightaway. Hagan now back to the race lead, and Aiden Smith in that 95 is going to look for that second position now as we got the battle for the race lead heating up here early on. Hagan's going to pull away. Bowers versus Aiden Smith. That's for that second position between the Angiato and Monster Motorsports drivers. All behind that TSR guy, and Smith is going to send it in. That's battle for second. He's almost washed up and had to break up coming off of the corner as to not hit Bowers, and that's going to lose him a lot of time. Now Aiden Smith drops to third. Eli Bright trying to catch up. Stephen Wallace Jr. has had 3 great races to start this season. At Atlanta, it wasn't going too hot, and then he crashed out. But at Auto Club Daytona, he dominated early on, fell back. At Auto Club, he was up front inside the top 5, and it got taken out at the end by Morris, getting into a couple people and ending up spinning him. Now he's in the top 5 again. Now he's just wondering what's going to happen this time. Coming up to the quarter mark of the way through this event is Eli Bright's going to go for third on Aiden Smith, but Stephen Wallace Jr. hoping that this GDI team can run very strong. Onjack now is making a charge towards the front. He and Ryan Butcher both. Kukulon now into 10th, Jefferson 11th, Dusty Neal up to 12th from 20th. He's a big mover today. But Cody Goforth 31st, and now that's a move for 13th. He is on fire. He just loves these cup cars, and he's really showing his potential. He left Rockstar Energy Racing, and that's something to note here. 2 drivers left Rockstar Energy Racing this season for new teams. Cody Goforth went to North Border Motorsports, and Sebastian Kukulon, the team owner of RER, went to Sauber Racing Team. Goforth sits 4th in points in the Cup points standings, and he's inside the top 20 in the truck standings. Meanwhile, Sebastian Kukulon went on to win yesterday's race for Sauber Racing Team. So I think RER might just be the stepping stone. Get yourself into a series, get yourself into a top series, and then to leave, and you run much better. Cody Goforth showing that potential right now as Downey goes 3 wide on him. Stephen Wallace Jr. now getting shuffled back. The commentator's curse hitting him again. Battle for the race lead once again as we just hit the quarter of the way mark. Bowers versus Hagan out in front. This is the battle we're watching now, and Bowers is going to take that spot. I don't think Hagan's going to be able to fight him this time as Carson Bowers and Angiato, they've won 2 of the first 3 races this season out in front here at Memphis. Chevy got the other win in their return to the NSDCA top division with strong teams. They won at Atlanta with Carter Friesen, but now the Dodges looking like they are the monster, the powerhouse manufacturer in the NSDCA as they're trying to hang on over Hagan. Flyby down the front straightaway. Bowers and Hagan out in front. Smith, Bright, and Onjack, your top 5. This pack back here, it looks like about 12th on back is just a big pile of mess. And then slower cars. Matty Porta. Let's take a minute to talk about Porta real quick if we can go get to him. here as the leaders have kind of calmed down. Matty Porta has not had a good start to this season. He's really just not looking like he was last year at all. Porta is 12th in points, so that's not too bad. He is 12th in points. An average finish, though, of 15th. It's just not clicking for this team. They've been able to make their way through the field pretty nicely, but their qualifying performances are lacking severely, and right now they're battling other drivers who struggle at short tracks like Matthew Eves. Colton Lane's up here. Surprising to see Lane so far back. But you got guys like Zachary DeLello back here. He's really struggling so far in this race. He is 7th in points, so it's been a pretty good season. Riley Spurleytube has just dropped to the back, and Jacob Edson again. It's just all going bad. He scored a lot of points last week. He only had 7 points until they headed to Auto Club. He was involved, I believe, in a late race incident, but was able to fight his way up into the top 20 and got a top 20 finish. Riley Spurleytube's bouncing off the wall there, but Edson, just his comeback to the NSDCA has not gone well. Right now running, battling for that 30th position with Riley Spurleytube. Carson Bowers coming out of turn number 2. These guys coming out of 4, so they're about halfway behind him. The battle for third on back heating up as Eli Bright for Evernham now up inside the top 5. Ryan Butcher getting that 83 into the top 5. I believe Butcher has only won on short tracks and road courses, so short tracks are definitely his bread and butter out here in that 83 car. On Jack back there in 6th. Stephen Wallace Jr. hanging on in 7th. And Dusty Neal has kind of fallen back. Brady Burkhart's fallen back, but Goforth, we just said he was so good. Now he's at the back of this group as Kyle Corbett, Carter Friesen, Austin Murray, some Chevys up here fighting each other off. This is around the 15th, 16th, 17th position as Corbett's trying to lead that group. DJ Curtis also back there, so just a gaggle of Chevys back here with a couple Toyotas, the BGM Toyota and the SBR Toyota. Irving Allison, Diego Yepes back there. Joseph Strigley, it's been great to see him. We're going to give him some TV time because his sponsors deserve it. After Atlanta, it's interesting to see if Strigley can just play strategy this year, get himself possibly a win off that strategy. We saw it work out for him at Atlanta. He got some TV time, was out in front, got some laps led. Colton Lane has brought it down pit road. So lap 34, we have our first pit stop of the day. That is Colton Lane in the 05 car, and the rest of the field cycling on around. It looks like Noah Kim has fallen to the last car in line there. So we'll see if anyone else will come into pit. Eli Bright has fallen back a little bit. Kukulon fighting his way up here. And Sebastian, again, the fans were going crazy yesterday when he was able to lead all 75 laps and come home with the win. Now Sebastian Kukulon in this 12, fighting his way inside the top 10 up to the 7th spot. Can he sweep the weekend? That'd be something if he goes from 0 wins in his almost 100 race career to 2 wins in a matter of a weekend. Colton Lane on the inside of Morris and Stephen Wallace Jr. Hopefully he merges nice and cleanly. Does not seem like anyone else has come down pit road, so Lane might have just came down to fix some issues on that car or make an adjustment because it has just not been performing well. Bauer is out in front in this 25, about 2 seconds over Larry Hagan. We saw yesterday Kukulon was able to jump out to about 2 seconds over the rest of the field. But these guys, these top 2 in another league today, they are 4.8 seconds ahead of Aiden Smith. Onjak now in that 44. Can he go 2 in a row for Onj Auto in the Cup Series and for himself? Now there's Colton Lane in the 05. He's 2 laps down, I believe, with how short this track is. Yes, he is 2 laps down, seated in the 31st position. His run at full-time racing has not been going well. And I've noticed that mostly all of the drivers who said they would be going full-time, cars stacking up there. Morris really stacking up there. But I've noticed the guys that said they were going full-time in the Cup Series, Eli Bright is going to bring that 79 down pit road. So we are seeing pit stops now, possibly. 37 of 100 complete. Looks like it'll be a 2 pit stop race if this thing goes green all the way. It's a short track in the NSDCA. I don't think it's going to go green all the way. Strigley going to early pit as well as Riley Spurleytube. But speaking of Spurleytube, speaking of Colton Lane, the guys who announced they were going full-time racing in the Cup Series after a successful first couple races have really struggled. Colton Lane had that issue, had the penalty at Auto Club that cost him a lot in that points hunt. He's now outside of the top 5 in points. He's dropped back to 9th in points, so still in the chase, but struggling. Riley Spurleytube, he was inside the top 10. He's now 16th in points, and currently as they run, I don't know why I'm flipping through the cars so quickly. I'm trying to see if anyone's coming down pit road. Butcher not going to. So those guys must have been taking some early pit stops, really short pitting out here. The 05 of Lane, the 63 of Srigley, and the 61 of Spurleytube, I think, were the ones that came on in, as well as Eli Bright. But no one else is really coming down pit road, so these guys are playing some weird strategy. Could it work? That is the question. We'll see if it will work, but we'll just see how it will be. Out in front, Eli Bright there, but out in front is Carson Bowers, 40 of 100 complete. Not going to go to a commercial break yet because we might have pit stops. Colton Lane slow on the bottom, and that's going to be a tire down on the 05 car, and he now has a flat tire. He's going to have to limp this car back around to pit road, and as we said, as soon as you said you were going full time, Lane, Spurleytube, both of them just not having a good time the last two races, and a flat tire is going to take Colton Lane out of any good position now. He's going to probably drop 4 laps down, maybe even 5 as they come down to diagnose this issue on the 05, but that is heartbreaking for Colton Lane. Cody Goforth, on the other hand, announced that he was going full-time racing. He's up at 4th in points, so we'll see how that'll go. Eli Bright has caught this second group, but there is Carson Bowers in the 25, passed by Joseph Srigley, so the tires starting to become a factor. Colton Lane is, though, is down pit road. Heartbreaking for that 05 team, but Carson Bowers out in front, just logging laps, 2.5 seconds ahead of Larry Hagan. Back in 3rd is now Peter Onjak, 7 seconds back almost from race leader Carson Bowers. Ryan Butcher 4th. Aiden Smith has fallen to 5th. Stephen Wallace Jr., Morris Foster, Neil Jefferson. Downey's up here, but we've been going through the field this whole time. We're going to go ahead, take a quick commercial break. If there are any pit stops here, there's Noah Kim. DJ Curtis is blowing up, so more issues for them. An engine failure on the 5 car. Monster Motorsports has gone from bad to worse, and now they got 1 car out of the race. Big implications there for that team, but we are coming up on the halfway point of this race. A lot of drivers coming down pit road, but a lot of them staying out. We'll go ahead and come back when our leaders come down pit road. Bring you guys back to the action after this here at the Ducks Unlimited 400 at Memphis.
There's one. What is that?
It's my Dale call.
That's way better than my duck call.
If you're on a diet of taking it up a notch,
It's just different.
drink Diet Dew. The only diet with dew in it.
Approaching halfway here at Memphis. Out in front it is Carson Bowers, still with a 3.5 second lead over Larry Hagan. Peter Onjak back in 3rd, Ryan Butcher 4th, and Stephen Wallace Jr. up to 5th is Aiden Smith. That car looks to be getting tight on him. He's dropped back to 6th. Brandon Morris 7th, 8th is Tib Foster, 9th Jay Jefferson, 10th Dusty Neal. We saw Colton Lane, the reason he came down so much earlier than everyone else, he also had another flat tire we discovered over break. So that's 2 flat tires for Colton Lane in this race, sets him 3 laps down. See guys like Noah Kim trying to make on through. There's damage to the back of the 53 of Logan Bradley. No caution, but that switch 53 has some heavy damage to the rear of the car, and you just see how slow these guys are. Srigley has almost caught back up to the race leaders again. You go down 2 laps pitting here. Green flag pit stops. You lose about 2 laps just trying to take that pit stop. And you see Bowers. He's running, as we come on around here on these old tires, 27.063. You see how light he is on the throttle, or on the brake up top. Doesn't want to tear these tires up. He's 3 seconds off of what his opening stints were. This opening stint, those opening laps, fast laps there that he was running, as Corbett's going to dive to the inside of everyone. He is back on fresh tires, and even in traffic, he's running about 1.5 seconds faster than the rest of the grid. Man, these guys, I don't think they're not going to be able to make it to the end on just 1 pit stop. All these guys staying out will be able to. Depending, as Ryan Butcher, he might be out of fuel in the 83. Yeah, there's an issue with the fuel system on the 83, and he's going to miss pit road. Caution is out for him stalling on track. So those guys that pit early on, their strategy is not going to work, but 51 of 100, this means we will just have a 1 pit stop race for most of these drivers. Bowers comes in, but Ryan Butcher stalls the car on track, and that is going to take the driver who was running fourth out of this event. Now these guys most likely going to come on into pit. We'll take a look at what happened to Logan Bradley early too, but Carson Bowers bringing that car in down to pit road. We're going to go ahead and just throw that right there as Hagan comes on in, Onjak comes on in. The rest of the field has to play catch up. Lane, Bright, they came in earlier. They're a lap down. So is Srigley in the 63. 75 of Corbett, 12 of Kukulon, I believe, all came in down onto pit road. So those guys were trying, I guess, to short pit, but these guys are going to make it to halfway. The caution comes out after halfway, so they can all come on in, and that will pretty much trap these guys out here. This will trap Colton Lane multiple laps down, but he had no choice anyway. There's one car on the apron here. That is Kyle Corbett. Is there an issue with the 75 car? There's might be a tire issue on the 75. A tire gone down on Kyle Corbett as well. But coming on around here, we're going to see 2 4-tire pit stops here. Tib Foster is going to be the first one out. He goes 2 tires only on the 40 car. He's going to crazy strategy there. But Bowers will be the first driver out of the guys at 4 tires. Hagan out, Onjak, Stephen Wallace Jr., Morris, Jefferson, Neal, Downey, and it looks like Aiden Smith will be the last one out of the top 10 coming on out. Rest of the field coming on out, but there is an issue with the 75. Colton Lane's going to stay out, but you see the rest of this group is coming on in. I think they're going to just try to cut their losses and make it to the end of the race on this pit stop. Their strategy is not going to work, but there is a tire issue on the 75. They have a flat tire. There was a possible engine issue on the 75 as well, so we're going to see if they're going to be able to diagnose that car, and they are going to go on to the right side, take some tires there. But he did blow a tire in the 75, so heartbreaking for Tony Zhang Motorsports. Tib Foster on a 2-tire call. The tires, those left side tires, might have to run the full race. I don't know how that strategy is going to play out, but if we get an early caution, Tib might decide to come on down pit road later on. But we saw the tires could be a key factor here coming to the end of this race. If we have a late caution, do you come down, take some tires, and hope that you can drive your way through the field quick enough? Past halfway here at the Ducks Unlimited 400, we got to take a look and see what happened to Logan Bradley. Ryan Butcher, of course, stalls on track to bring out the caution, but Logan Bradley also had damage to the 53 car. Let's go ahead and take a quick look and see what that was all about, but we'll bring guys back to the action here at the Ducks Unlimited 400. So Logan Bradley's incident here on the back straightaway. Kukulon goes by him, but this car has not been handling good all day in Bradley's final start with the team this season. Kyle Corbett pulls up to the back of him, and as they enter the corner, Bradley's going to slow down just a little bit early. They run into the outside wall, get pushed into the wall by Corbett. Corbett runs into the back of 53. That is where the damage came from on that car. But the reason we are under caution, Ryan Butcher, a fuel system failure coming out of turns 3 and 4, unable to make it to pit road, and it stalls on the track. He had some flashing lights in the dashboard for a couple laps, but Ryan Butcher's day done here at Memphis brings us to our first caution. Back live here at the Ducks Unlimited 400. Tib Foster will be your race leader on a 2-tire pits call strategy. Though Colton Lane is in front of the field, he did not pit, so he will be lining up at the front of this line. Carson Bowers second, Hagan third, Onjak fourth, Stephen Wallace Jr., Brandon Morris, Jay Jefferson, Dusty Neal, Gatlin Downey, and Aiden Smith are your top 10. The 75 of Kyle Corbett has taken that car behind the wall, an engine failure and a tire failure at the same time. On that 75, they tried to repair it on pit road. Did not happen. That car is done for the day. Tib Foster leading him back around. Colton Lane is going to be the one leading us back around, though. He should not have too much slowness. Green flags back in the air. We are back racing here at Memphis, and Foster, those 2 tires, that I think he's already losing spots as Bowers and Onjak are going to go right on by. Hagan held up. Jefferson turned sideways by Neal, and Foster, those left sides are just not getting any traction for him. He's dropping right to the back in that 40 car, and Larry Hagan falling to the same fate that team owner Jay Jefferson had last week. Gatlin Downey almost getting turned by Austin Murray, and Hagan is out of this one as Foster trying to keep it going. Those 2-tire calls not going to work on that 40 team, and it is very slow for Tib Foster. We'll see if he could get down pit road in time, but Hagan's day is done. Bowers looking to the inside of Colton Lane. That's not for the race lead. That's for leading this group. And Onjak there in the 44. Can he spoil the party for Carson Bowers? Stephen Wallace Jr. is up here in third. Jefferson was almost turned on that restart. Looking further back, and there is Foster. Hagan now pretty much last as Tib Foster. That strategy's not going to work out. Now you got Mathis Wells and Austin Murray held up behind him. Ryan Butcher still on pit road. They're diagnosing that. Stephen Wallace Jr. up to third. Can he get a top 5 run today? Look at Dusty Neal for Cloud Foster Racing Operations up here fighting now Jay Jefferson. He has some right side damage, but that doesn't matter too much here at the short tracks. Up to 4th goes Dusty Neal for that 94 team. Stephen Wallace Jr. up in front of him. That's a teammate in CFRO. And now Stephen Wallace Jr. is up in 3rd. So CFRO has to be pretty happy with this run. Matthew Eves in the 47, the other CFRO driver, not a short track racer at all, but he is right now in the 15th spot with some drivers falling 2 laps. And Eli Bright runs right into the back of him. But CFRO up in 15th with Matthew Eves. Further back, though, Tib Foster, I believe they've brought that 40 car down pit road. And yeah, that call was not going to work for them. And they are going to go around and take those 4 tires now. Tib does have that race win to fall back on. He sits right now 18th in points, though, so they got to hope that 40 team can pick up spots, and that is just heartbreaking. Foster has not had good luck, and this time it's the crew chief that's going to cost him some spots there. There you see him. He's going to pull up right beside his Onjato teammates in Bowers and Onjack, but that is going to cost Foster a ton. He is now 1 lap down, 2 laps down as they passed him there. And that is Tib Foster's day pretty much done here. Bowers and Onjack out in front, but no one's going to catch him as Stephen Wallace Jr. is very far behind. Dusty Neal clear into 4th. Jefferson now trying to work his way past Colton Lane. Going to make some contact with Lane, and Lane's into the outside wall with Aiden Smith. Monster Motorsports has been told to get out of there by Jay Jefferson. Lane now trying to cross the pack as he's going to hold up Noah Kim, and Kim's going to actually get into him coming down to pit road. Lane tried to block. There's some contact further back. I think Larry Hagan, Austin Murray, and DeLello not having a good time, and DeLello's going to get turned across the pack by Austin Murray. So we just had a lot of things happen in this last lap here at Memphis. Larry Hagan, you see further back, or sitting at the back of this one. But we just had some chaos. Jefferson, sick of these lappers holding him up. The last week, Stephen Wallace Jr. held him up, cost him a race win right there. And now he just moves Colton Lane out of the way into Aiden Smith. And that's going to tear up both Monster Motorsports cars in this race. Carter Friesen now the last MM car that's even able to run, basically, and he's only 15th, so Monster Motorsports having a bad time. The 05 team saying it's a tire failure that took them out of the race. I don't think it was a tire failure. Maybe that his tires were lifted off and spun out. But Jefferson moves Colton Lane out of the way and puts him into Aiden Smith, so Smith, who is having a great run, is going to be damaged. And then Zachary DeLello, Austin Murray get together, so those two not too happy with each other. Got a lot to discuss over that last lap. We'll go ahead, take a quick replay of that, and bring you guys back to the action when we go back green here at Memphis. I think the message is clear. Jay Jefferson does not like the lappers getting in his way. Colton Lane trying to stay just 3 laps down, gets turned by Jefferson up into Aiden Smith. Big hit, and that's going to take the 05 car out of this race. But as he comes down the track, Max Anderson nowhere to go. He's just on the bottom, and Lane just turns basically straight in front of him, spins himself out on the 51. On board with Aiden Smith, he was behind this, and you see Lane down there. Jefferson's just going to get into the back of him, shove him out of the way, and it's just victim of circumstance there for Aiden Smith as he was on the outside as Lane got pushed up the track. Another incident, though, Zachary DeLello coming down the back straightaway was trying to avoid the 51 and 05, comes into the corner and actually cuts off Austin Murray. That's the damage to Murray, and Murray comes right back and is going to turn him coming off of 4, coming back to the line. So some fighting there between those two. We're going to have to see what the NSDCA will say about Austin Murray's incident, but DeLello spins around at the end of this one. Bring you guys back to the action after this at Memphis. Going to come back live here at Memphis a little early with Carson Bowers, Peter Onjack in the race lead. Lapper Tib Foster now after that bad pit call that's going to cost him a great finish here at Memphis. This poor 40 team is now going to be in the middle of the Onjato duo in front. In the hard-charging Dodges behind him, Stephen Wallace Jr. 3rd, Dusty Neal 4th, Jay Jefferson 5th, Yepes Morris for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports 6th and 7th. The other GDI car, Gatlin Downey, is 8th. Burkhart 9th, Allison 10th, Porta up to 11th. Kukulon's a lap down, but Edson is 12th, Gofor 13th, Eves 14th, Friesen 15th, Hagen. That is not going to be too happy for TSR again. 2 weeks in a row, their dominant cars have been taken out by lappers, but Larry Hagan 16th, 17th Logan Bradley, 18th Austin Murray, 19th Mathis Wells, 20th DeLello, 21st Aiden Smith. He's the last car on the lead lap. The NSDCA has given Austin Murray and P2M a warning, and they want to see the driver and the the crew chief after the race, just for a talk after that incident with Zachary DeLello. Murray, of course, spinning him across the infield earlier on after that crash happened. But Carson Bowers has been dominant out in front in this 25 today. He got around Larry Hagan and is just pulled away. Bowers coming from that 6th position, looking for a race win today to put himself back on top of the NSDCA. He broke a 3-season-long winless drought last season, winning at Richmond, and went on to win the title. Now looking to do that again here in the Cup Series as we get the one to go that time by. 68 of 100 complete here at Memphis. So Bowers, Onjak out in front, 1st and 2nd. 3rd is Stephen Wallace Jr. 4th, Dusty Neal. 5th, Jay Jefferson. Tib Foster in the middle. We'll see, as the lappers have been kind of interesting, lining up kind of middle of the pack this year. Of course, that is the ruling by the NSDCA, as them lining up on the inside line cause a lot more issues than that usually. But Tib Foster in that 40, he's not slow, he's up to speed, he has those tires, he's not going to hold up a lot of people, unlike the damaged cars that you've seen out here. But Bowers and Onjak in the race lead, those are his teammates. We'll see if Foster will try to hold back SWJ, Neal, and Jefferson from those top two. Coming down, we have just over 30 laps to go. Green flags back in the air here at Memphis, and we are back racing. Onjak gets a pretty good start, is going to stay right behind Bowers. Foster, though, wants to go. He wants laps back. Stephen Wallace Jr. almost turned by Neal, but Onjak and Bowers get a launch off of the corner. They're going to go out into the race lead. Now Dusty Neal in the 94 for Cloud Foster Racing Operations. Does Foster try to help out that 94 to get him into victory lane as well? Even the SWJ 65, it's not CFRO, it's not Tib Foster's team, but it is his driver and his alliance partner. So we got a lot of teams up here that could use the help of that lap car of Foster, as Onjak's going to look for the race lead. He's looking to go 2 in a row to the inside of Bowers, side by side for this race lead. Foster trying to get at least 1 lap back here, and he's going to push Onjak into that race lead. Give it to Peter Onjak, looking for 2 in a row here in the Cup Series. 30 laps to go at Memphis. Foster now around Carson Bowers. Onjak out in front. Back in 3rd, Dusty Neal. Diego Yepes, look at the 77 car. And Brady Burkhardt. Burkhardt is your points leader. Both of these guys haven't won since they fought for the title 2 years ago in the Truck Series. They're both fighting their way inside the top 5. And look who the other instrumental driver in that championship fight was. Brandon Morris. Sebastian Kukulon is going across the grass. Will he save it almost into Goforth? But he was all the way across the grass. He's a lap car. We'll get a replay of that as soon as possible. Goforth might have got a piece of the wall there, but Kukulon was in the grass going across the track. Neal now has Stephen Wallace Jr. all over him in 3rd. Burkhardt in 5th. This is your points leader. He has not won a race in 2 seasons. He and Yepes both with a long winless drought. They're trying to move their way up. Morris has never won, and you see he's right on the back of Yepes. These two have fought in the offseason. They fought in the past. Now Morris to the inside of Yepes. The BGM guys going at it up here inside the top 10. Porta now has fought his way into the top 10. I said earlier this race, the qualifying not good for Sauber Racing Team, but they have fought and clawed their way for spots this entire season so far. Up into 9th goes Matty Porta and that 20 team. And now lapper Sebastian Kukulon on the back of Jefferson. If I was a lap car, I'd stay away from him. Caution is out. Caution is out. Big hit to the 61 of Riley Spurley-Tube. Alex Fletcher. Zachary DeLello might have got a piece of it. Joseph Srigley damaged. Eli Bright damaged. That's some lappers. Austin Murray. We're going to have to hope Murray didn't get into DeLello, because that could be some bigger penalties to that 91, as he's already received a warning today. But Onjak took the lead on that restart. Foster in the 40s now going to be right in between them and Onjak as they come down the front straightaway. Fletcher there in the 72 with damage. Joseph Srigley, they are not pitting that car. They are going to try to just stay out, I guess. Maybe going to try to pick up a lap or 2 if those guys crash out and take him behind the wall so he can pick up some spots. But heavy damage to that 63 car. Eli Bright in the 79 damaged up. The 95 of Aiden Smith has damage from that earlier incident. And Austin Murray also has damage from that earlier incident, as well as Logan Bradley. Out in front is Peter Onjak. He took the lead on that restart. We're going to be going back green probably with about 20 laps to go or just a little over it. Anjado out in front, but you got CFRO, SWJ for that GDI team, as well as 3 hungry Toyotas looking for their first win in a while, or their first win ever. Right behind him as well, Gatlin Downey back there. Coming on around, Joseph Strigley is going to bring that car down to pit road now, as they're going to probably try to keep that car out. DeLello has come on in. Eli Bright not bringing the 79 down for repairs. A big crash here in the closing laps of the Ducks Unlimited 400 brings us to yet another caution. Get you guys back to the action after this. Let's take a look at the replays. The big one will strike here at Memphis. Mathis Wells is just going to coast up the track too far, hits the outside wall into Max Anderson. DeLello gets turned. Strigley had the car slowed down until Eli Bright and Riley Spurleytube came rushing in. And then after this, Spurleytube actually not happy with Eli Bright, kind of turns into him. But Mathis Wells just walked up the track, was into the marbles, spun out. DeLello heavy hit. Everyone was fine, but Eli Bright sends Joseph Strigley and flips that 72 up and over. On board with Riley Spurleytube, he was behind that as Wells bounces off the wall. DeLello goes spinning. Strigley has it saved until Eli Bright's there. Spurleytube tried to come in, and it wasn't enough as Eli Bright hit into that crash. Not happy with Bright after that one. Spurleytube, heavy damage in this event. Mathis Wells flipped over. A lot of cars are now done for the day. Strigley, a victim there, but we will bring you guys back to the action here at the Ducks Unlimited 400 after this. Back live here at the Ducks Unlimited 400 at Memphis. Peter Onjak in the race lead. Foster's the lap car between him and second place Bowers. Third place Neal. Fourth place Wallace Jr. and fifth place Burkhart. Brandon Morris sits 6th, Diego Yepes 7th, Gatlin Downey 8th, Matty Porter 9th, and Jay Jefferson in 10th. 11th, Cody Goforth up from 31st. That's 20 spots. Matthew Eves looking for a top 10 in 12th. Jacob Edson has fought his way up to 13th. Irving Allison 14th, Logan Bradley 15th. Hagan sits 16th, Friesen 17th, Murray 18th, 19th, Aiden Smith 20th, Zachary DeLello. And I believe that's all the drivers left on the lead lap, top 20. Kukulon 1 lap down in 21st. Noah Kim, Eli Bright, and Joseph Strigley all laps down. 2 laps down is Tip Foster. The rest of the drivers out of this race. Going to be under the final quarter of the race. About 23 laps to go. Green flag is back in the air, and Peter Onjak's trying to win it here at Memphis, out in front over Tib Foster in that lap car number 40. If Foster can get around Onjak, get at least 1 lap back, he could fight for a possible top 21 finish, and that's what he's going to do. No more helping his teammates out. He wants to get his lap back so he can pick up points himself. And now Foster to the inside of Onjak. That is for a lap back. He's 2 laps down, but looking for 1 lap back. And he's going to try to get to the inside of Onjak here. Throws it into the corner, slows down on the inside. Onjak flying on that outside line. It looks like Peter's going to carry it. No, Foster almost into the back of his team owner. Peter Onjak there in that 44 car. Now behind, Stephen Wallace Jr., Dusty Neal side by side. Caution is out yet again. Austin Murray might have had a piece of that. Jay Jefferson's in it. Eli Bright's day is done, and Foster's not going to be able to get around Onjak in time. As we race back to the caution, Carson Bowers right into the back of Eli Bright, and that's going to be Bowers' day done in the 25. Nowhere for him to go. He was trying to get through. There must have been oil on the track. Couldn't slow down. And Bowers, his car right into the back of the 79. And that will be the Anjado number 25's day done here. A driver who was dominant this race, was looking for some points. Has not had that great of a start. 15th in points. Picked up a lot at Auto Club, but now his car destroyed, the smoke billowing from the 25. And that moves Dusty Neal and Stephen Wallace Jr. into 2nd and 3rd behind the Anj Auto duo. Joseph Strigley, his car destroyed. Noah Kim is destroyed. Eli Bright, their cars all destroyed here in the closing laps. 19 to go, most likely going back green with about 16 to go. Let's go ahead, take a quick look, see what brought out another caution here with the guys here at Memphis. So Jay Jefferson's going to get turned in the 4th incident of the day. Kukulon right on the back of him. Spins that 48 around. Jefferson tries to lock it up, but he's just going to coast back up the track. Max Anderson comes flying in. Strigley and Bright also make contact. Jefferson is probably going to be done for the day now. But Max Anderson in the 51, he committed to the outside line. There was just nowhere for him to go. Strigley, Bright were trying to get through it, and they all pile in. Carson Bowers also piles it at the end, but another big crash here at the end of the Ducks Unlimited 400 brings us yet to another caution. Lights on the pace car have gone out here at Memphis. Peter Onjak in the race lead. Dusty Neal sits second. Stephen Wallace Jr. third. Brady Burkhart fourth. Brandon Morris fifth. Sixth, Diego Yepes. Seventh, Matty Porta. Eighth, Gatlin Downey. Ninth, Cody Goforth. 10th, Matthew Eves. Sebastian Kukulon being called to the NSDCA hauler after this, joining Austin Murray in there after that move that was done on Jay Jefferson. In 11th, Jacob Edson. 12th, Irving Allison. 13th, Logan Bradley. 14th, Larry Hagan. 15th, Carter Friesen. A lot of cars out of this one. Now Tib Foster into the top 20. 3 cars out of this race. Carson Bowers, Jay Jefferson, Noah Kim have joined, not Noah Kim, Max Anderson making his debut in the Cup Series in the 51. They are all out of this one. Onjak, Neal, Stephen Wallace Jr., Brady Burkhart, Braden Morris, your top 5 with a lapper of Tib Foster in the middle. Can Tib try to get one of his laps back? Coming down the front straightaway. Green flags back in the air here at Memphis. 15 laps to go. And Foster all over the back of Peter. If Peter can get moved out of the way by Foster, that could open the door for Neal. And will Tib, instead of helping his team owner, he will dive to the inside. Will he try to help Dusty Neal get to victory lane as Tib wants one of those laps back? To the inside of Onjak. He's going for that lap back. But here comes Dusty Neal in the 94 up the inside. Drag race across the line. Onjak leads, but Neal is right behind him. And Dusty Neal's going to follow Team Boss Foster into the race lead in that number 94. Foster now trying to just get one of his laps back. That's all he wants. Now it's Neal's problem himself. He has to race Onjak. Now can Peter get a move done? As Neal's going to run it a bit wider coming out of the corner, but Onjak a bit slower. Stephen Wallace Jr. on the back bumper of Onjak for the second spot. 12 laps to go is all that stands between Neal and a race victory. Just like yesterday in the trucks, Kukulon had never won in the NSDCA. Neither has Dusty Neal. Stephen Wallace Jr. in the 65 chasing him down. That's teammates right there. That's alliance partners. Morris to the inside of Burkhart for that 4th position. Look at Cody Goforth inside the top 10. Irving Allison fighting. There's not many cars left. I don't know if these guys will continue to wreck each other. Foster's pulled away, but now it's Neal versus Stephen Wallace Jr. for 1st and 2nd. Coming around, 11 laps to go. Next time by, Neal out in front, SWJ in 2nd. Remember, the Sundrop Cup Series has the green-white checkered rule at the end of these races. Now Morris looking for a move on Onjak as Peter's car looks to be fading away since Foster got around him. Now the top 3 have 1 win between them all, and that one driver with the win is Stephen Wallace Jr. Onjak, though, will carry the momentum back past Morris. Neal has damage to the side of that 94. Will it cost him? Fighting right now, hanging on over Stephen Wallace Jr. in that 65 car. Dusty Neal has never won in the NSDCA. The closest he's ever gotten, the Mountain Dew Custom Series Texas race. 3 years ago, he was in that number 49 car. The part-time entry for CFRO, trying to hang on. Austin Johnson got up there, moved him out of the way for the race win. Now Neal is hoping that his teammate in the trucks from seasons past, as well as a driver that is an alliance partner to that 94, he hopes that he'll get the same courtesy and not move him out of the way as Stephen Wallace Jr. has fallen pretty far back there. Onjak trying to hang on over Morris for 3rd, but Morris wants these spots for BGM. He's up into 3rd, now looking for possibly 2nd on Stephen Wallace Jr. Burkhart in 5th, Yepes 6th. Morris, just like Dusty Neal, has never won in the NSDCA. He's all over the back of the 65 of Wallace Jr. Neal trying to pull away. You got 8 laps to go for this South Point 94 to bring it home. They are able to make it on fuel. Everyone is able to make it on fuel. If they made it to that lap 51 mark, they can make it the final laps. But if a green-white checkered comes out, do they have enough fuel to run maybe 5 or 6 extra laps because you'd be pacing around? Burkhart now moves his way into 4th. Yepes trying to get up there to 5th, but Onjak trying to hang on over Brady. Morris clear into 3rd. Goforth is stuck behind Kukulon. I don't think he's going to be able to catch him. But Neal is just trying to limp it home. 6 laps to go next time by. Stephen Wallace Jr. in 2nd. Can he get up there and try to win this race? Gatlin Downey Inc. has only 2 wins in their name, both with Jose Perez. They came into this Cup season hoping that they could. Stephen Wallace Jr. has had so many great runs this season, but a couple times have been taken out by crashes. Now, he is in that 2nd position. He wants to bring this home clean, but I think Downey would understand if it was dirtied up if he went out there and won this race. Neal, though, starting to pull away. 5 laps to go. This this time by, and Dusty Neal is your race leader, leading them all. Foster has pulled away. He was able to help Neal past Onjak. Now, if Neal was able to get by Onjak without his help, I mean, he could. He has the speed here. He's showing right here he had the speed, and Onjak's fallen back. The lapper in between them is what cost him, but right now, it's Dusty Neal out in front. 4 more circuits around Memphis. I think all he wants to see now is that white flag. Brady Burkhardt has got himself into third. The battle for third, fourth, fifth raging. It looks like it could be a Neal versus Stephen Wallace Jr. for this race win. And if you are CFRO, do you want to see the driver? Do you want to see your own car win, or do you want to see Stephen Wallace Jr. win? I don't think they'd be too unhappy either way. But these two alliance partners this season, I don't think they're going to be much more than that coming in these final 3 laps. As Stephen Wallace Jr. is going to catch up. Stephen Wallace Jr. has a run. He has closed the gap to him and Neal. 3 laps to go. Can Dusty Neal win it at Memphis? Neal is trying to hang on. Just 3 more circuits around. It's just about 1.5 miles left for Neal. Coming around, it'll be 2 laps to go. He needs to see that white flag to know he does not have to hang on for another 2 laps. Burkhardt clearing to third. Onjak fighting back there. We're taking a look through the field, making sure most of the field's spread out. I don't think there's going to be a caution. 1 more time around for Neal to get that white flag. That's all he wants to see. He does not want a GWC. He wants to win this race. Coming out of turn number 2, we got 2 laps to go. White flag next time by. Stephen Wallace Jr. is falling back. I don't think he has enough time. Through 3 and 4, if he comes across that line and it's waving white, he is going to be home free as long as he can hang on. White flag is in the air for Dusty Neal. The CFRO number 94 dives into turn number 1. He's never won in the NSDCA. It was taken away from him by Austin Johnson 3 years ago. And now, coming down the back straightaway, 2 more turns to go, and it's his. He's going to make the turns perfectly. First career win. It's been a long time coming. This weekend, 2 winners go to victory lane for the first time. Dusty Neal wins it at Memphis. Tib Foster, he's going to be pacing around up in front to finish his lap off. He's going to come home 20th, but I think he's fine sacrificing that 20th place run for Dusty Neal. The damaged number 94 brings it home in victory lane. The first time in his career, 3 years late. And Stephen Wallace Jr., he's going to come up just short, but a 2nd place run is really what he needed after a heartbreaking start to the season for that team. But Dusty Neal and the 94 team for Cloud Foster Racing Operations bring home the victory finally in the Sundrop Cup Series. And the fans going crazy. Neal in tears. Kukulon got his first career win after 5 seasons yesterday and 3 seasons for Dusty Neal. He had to wait to taste victory lane. Larry Hagan, heartbreaking for him, and Carson Bowers, both of them screwed over by some lap cars. Bowers, of course, crashed out after hitting the back of Eli Bright, slipping on oil. But Larry Hagan, he fought his way back to the 8th position in that number 21. A great performance there after he was held up by a lap by Tib Foster, whose pit strategy really cost him big time there. But Dusty Neal comes home with the victory. A shout out to Stephen Wallace Jr. fighting up to 2nd and Morris up to 3rd. Cody Goforth from 34th to 6th. He is a threat this year, and he really wants to get that race win. Irving Allison 9th. Matty Porta fought his way up to 10th. Jay Jefferson, none too happy about that. He was in that incident and damaged that car up. They just took that car behind the wall. He finishes 24th. Max Anderson, comes home 25th. A lot of cars torn up in this one. A lot of mechanical failures, too. The 83, 75, 5, and 02. Well, not the 02, but those 3 guys all having some mechanical failures to end this event. But Dusty Neal holds on over Stephen Wallace Jr. to take the win here at Memphis. The fans probably enjoyed this one a bit more than the truck race yesterday. Kukulon flat out dominated, but we saw some comers and goers in this race. Onjak getting foiled by his own driver, Tib Foster, trying to get 1 lap back. And it gave the opening for Dusty Neal to sneak on through. And Neal, first career win, first Cloud Foster Racing Operation win in 2 seasons. And they finally get it with their main driver. They've stuck with him for 3 years, and now they finally get to reap the rewards. 2 CFRO drivers, if you include Stephen Wallace Jr., take the top spots. It was an exciting race here, all 100 laps, and Dusty Neal just holds on at the end to win. The next time out for the Trucks and Cup and Mountain Dew Custom Series will be heading to the famous road course Road America, a fan favorite on the schedule, and it's sure to be exciting if the Cup have put on 4 fantastic races so far this season. It's going to be exciting to see what road course ringers will show up to Road America in 2 weeks, but we hope to see a lot of people there, and we hope to see a lot of the fans there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching the Sundrop Cup Series Ducks Unlimited 400 at Memphis. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.